Welcome to the Joe Show with me, Joe. You know, it seems like just a few short years ago, Americans would turn to newscasters like Tom Brokaw, Walter Cronkite, and Dan Rather, these men with measured voices and gravitas, to get the world news delivered to them in a serious manner. But with the growth of shows like The Daily Show with Jon Stewart, The Colbert Report, Trevor Noah, Samantha Huckabee, could it be that instead of these serious-faced news anchors, we prefer and actually should get our news with a healthy dose of comedy? A new study out of UPenn asks this question. Let's think about it.
It's the Joe Show.
Welcome to Thoughtful Thursday here on the Gogo Joe Show. This is the episode where I combine the dumb stuff that I say with really smart things around neuroscience and philosophy. And today, as I mentioned, we're talking about humor in political news. New research out of the University of Pennsylvania, UPenn, suggests that humor helps people keep more informed about politics. Sometimes I wonder, do we really need these studies, or is this just common knowledge? This is one of those things that made me think, duh, of course humor helps us remember things, especially politics. The study, unsurprisingly, found that users or watchers of humorous news clips relating to politics were more likely to share and remember these clips in comparison to non-humorous clips. Like, really? They remembered the content better, they shared it to their friends more, and they were more likely to be engaged with their brain. Who would have thought that we like to be entertained when we talk about news? The senior researcher pointed out that for a democracy to work, you need your citizens to be engaged with and informed about politics in relation to public affairs. And this is exactly why we need to be educating Instagram thoughts and dudes with six-pack abs on public affairs so they can spread the message with their bodies. We got to get these strippers in civics classes. To test this, the researchers recruited a bunch of people 18 to 34 and asked them to watch news clips that they prepared. Some of them ended with jokes and some of them did not. Even though all they had to do was watch some news clips, these young adults were treated to the works by the researchers. Their brains were hooked up to machines for fMRI scans. They got a barrage of memory-related questions after they watched these videos. And to top it all off, the cherry, they had to answer a survey about whether or not they would share that video with a friend, family member, or colleague. And maybe even tweet about it. Yeah, you remember that? Fleeting tweets? Still a thing. I wondered, what exactly did these clips of news look like? How did they prepare them? Did they just take Stephen Colbert or John Oliver and compare it to Don Lemon and Anderson Cooper? What did they actually do? And I happened to find an example clip of a humorous and a non-humorous segment. Let's check it out.
Any contributions to elected officials exceeding $250 will have to be posted on the official's website, along with the donor's name. Finally, a way to publicly brag about having more than $250.
Yo, as far as humor goes, that wasn't terrible. The joke was okay, but Joseph Miller, if that's his real name, man after my own name, his delivery, his sarcastic delivery at the end of that was actually pretty good. I wonder if he's a stand-up comedian by trade, but let's see how Joseph Miller handles a non-humorous clip.
Any contributions to elected officials exceeding $250 will have to be posted on the official's website, along with the donor's name. This will publicly recognize people who give more than $250.
Yo, I got serious local nightly news vibes from Joseph Miller on that one. I had the 60-minute chills creeping up my arms and my back on that clip. Joseph Miller, the next Anderson Cooper. As we've guessed it, when presented with these two clips, a humorous one and non-humorous one about campaign donations, the clip that backed that ass up with some humor was more likely to be remembered and engaged with by the participants. The researchers state, our findings show that humor stimulates activity in the brain regions associated with social engagement, improves memory for political facts, and increases the tendency to share political information with others. Again, I'm a nobody on the internet. You can check my view count. Ain't nobody watching this. But what I can tell you is I did not need science to tell you that humor is an effective tool for memory. I love to laugh. I remember jokes. I remember what comedians say. I would much rather not watch Dan Rather, but rather watch John Oliver deliver the news over anybody else. So I don't want to beat a dead horse. You guys know that this wasn't an effective study and that we kind of already knew this and we didn't need science to tell us this fact. I think there's a reason why people get annoyed with science is because it tells us things that we already kind of intuitively know. But that said, I think that there actually is an important distinction here that could be made and needs to be researched next. And hey, you Penn people, you can take this and run with it. But I would love to see a study between things like humor and shock value. So you got shock jocks like Howard Stern, who will make strippers come on his show and have orgasms on the radio. And then you got humor like John Oliver delivering really funny segments and getting a sewage plant named after him. People remember both of these things. But when it comes to news, you got Fox News, which honestly delivers a lot of shock content. And then you've got things like, I don't know, CNN and 60 Minutes that try to have hard-hitting journalism, or at least more research nuance facts presented. And you got these two things competing, and I would rather know which one of these is more effective at getting people to remember and engage with the content, because I would guess that it's actually fairly even. You could either go the shocking route, the extremist route, or you could go the comedy route and fact-driven route. That is an interesting study. Piggybacking off of that, I would also love a study about language in relation to news and politics. Fox News will use a lot of words that kind of have negative connotations, call Democrats stupid, like do all of this kind of shock stuff on air. And comedy, on the other hand, will call people stupid and will do other things, but they always button nose it a lot of the time with some sort of joke to make us laugh instead of focusing on the negative aspect. So overall, they'll have a more positive or upbeat news program versus the more negative and shocking one on the other side of things. And I'm very curious how that affects people's memory and ability to engage with news. No matter how they choose to report it to you, and no matter what you choose to watch, I can guarantee you this, that the next time they talk about the newest regulation, you'll remember it best if they button nose it with a fart joke. That's it for today's Gogo Joe show. Again, if you like my content, hit that subscribe button and mash that bell to get a notification every time I upload a new video, which is kind of daily right now. I do it with humor, I do it with entertainment, with great cuts, great edits, great fun. Tell a friend because it was so fun. I know you want to share it with somebody. And until next time, think of something good because you know it. I love you.